All right, let's talk about Amazon Web Services. We all know them, right? The undisputed king of the cloud. They basically power the internet. But what if I told you there's a destiny for AWS that almost no one is talking about? A future that honestly spells out a pretty dangerous new reality for every single one of us doing business online. A future where the king just becomes another forgotten pipe in the wall.
Yeah, you read that right. AWS's inevitable destiny, becoming the next Lumen. I mean, that's a shocking prediction, right? It's the whole reason we're doing this explainer. How on earth could the most dominant, most profitable cloud provider on the planet be on a path to, well, to becoming an invisible utility company? To even begin to wrap our heads around that, we first got to ask, who or what the heck is Lumen?
So this table really lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you've got AWS, the cloud king. Every single developer knows their name. They power Amazon's whole empire. Then you've got Lumen, the invisible backbone. They own the actual cables under the sea that carry all of our internet traffic. They are absolutely essential. But, and this is the key, they are completely commoditized. They have zero pricing power. No one even thinks about them. And that's the fear, right? That AWS, this massive profit engine for Amazon, is walking the exact same plank.
So how does a king become a simple utility? Well, to figure that out, we've got to look past the usual suspects. You know, Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud. The real threat here is way more subtle, and it all starts when you spot a pattern in Amazon's own behavior.
Okay, check this out. This timeline reveals a fascinating little tell, kind of like in poker. AWS markets hardest where it's weakest. Think about it. Back in 2017, they were shouting about machine learning from the rooftops, all while trying to catch up to Google's TensorFlow. Fast forward to 2024, it's all AI, AI, AI with their Bedrock service. But then they lose massive deals like a $10 million project with Epic Games because they just didn't have the capacity. And now they're finally caving to the multi-cloud reality they fought against for years. You see the pattern? They're not leading the charge, they're reacting. The market is forcing their hand.
Look, AWS becoming a utility, that's just a symptom. It's not the disease. What's really happening is a much, much bigger and frankly way more dangerous economic shift that affects every single one of us. So welcome to the new era. Welcome to cloud feudalism.
So what is cloud feudalism? This is the absolute core of what we're talking about today. We're not in a free market anymore. We're entering a time where digital platforms are the new feudal lords. They own the infrastructure, the digital land, and they charge us, the users, the serfs, for access. They hit us with algorithmic rent and API taxes. They don't sell you a product. They own the ground your digital business is built on, and you better believe they're going to charge you rent just to be there.
And this table, this really shows you just how deep this change goes. In the old industrial economy, what mattered? Factories, raw materials. But in this new AI cloud economy, it's all about compute clusters and data sets. The revenue model? Forget about profit from selling products. Now it's about collecting algorithmic rent and API taxes. But the really scary part is the power source. It used to be about controlling production. Now it's about controlling your behavior and your decisions.
All right, so if AWS is just becoming the land, the question is, who are the new lords building their castles on top of it? Because this is where the real threat to AWS's power and, more importantly, to your profit margins, really starts to come into focus.
This right here, this is that new layer of power in practice, the abstraction layer. Think about it. Developers today, they don't really choose AWS anymore, do they? No, they choose Vercel to get their front end live. They use Netlify. They literally tell their AI coding assistant, hey, just deploy this for me. These platforms, they're the ones making the decisions now. And in the process, they make the underlying infrastructure, like AWS, completely invisible. They're making AWS irrelevant to the person actually building the thing.
And here's the price you pay for that convenience. 15 to 20%. That's the premium, that's the rent that these platforms like Vercel are charging you right on top of the raw AWS costs. They are capturing all the high-margin value, and they're leaving AWS with the low-margin commodity scraps.
This quote from Corey Quinn just nails it. The LLM is making the infrastructure decision now, and it's not optimizing for which cloud provider has the best managed Kafka offering. Think about that. Even our AI tools are now pushing the actual cloud provider further and further away. They treat AWS, Azure, and Google like plumbing, just pipes. The AI picks whatever works best for the job, and the developer, they never even have to know who's providing the water.
Okay,
So let's get personal. Why should you care about any of this? Because this entire new economic model is specifically designed to take your profit and turn it into their rent.
Just look at where your money is going. Sure, a piece of your cloud bill goes to AWS for the basic, commodity infrastructure, the plumbing. But look at that other piece, that growing, high-margin slice. That's the rent. That's what the abstraction layer is taking. And here's the kicker, the value that should be yours, you're the one building the actual product after all, is just being siphoned right off the top by these new digital landlords. And that brings us to a really, really uncomfortable question you have to ask yourself. In this new kingdom, who are you really working for? Are you building a business for yourself, or are you just a digital serf, toiling away to make the new cloud lords rich?
Okay, I know. It sounds pretty bleak, but it's not hopeless. The answer isn't to just work harder inside their system. The answer is to change your entire identity. It's time to go from serf to sovereign.
And this is the mindset shift we need. On one side, you've got the farmer. They're defensive, they work the land they're given, they try to optimize for a little more efficiency, and at the end of the day, they pay rent to the Lord. Then you have the pirate. A pirate is on the offense. They don't just work the land, they read the entire sea for new opportunities. They don't optimize for efficiency, they optimize for sovereignty. And most important of all, a pirate doesn't pay rent. A pirate builds their own damn dock. So what does that actually look like? What's the playbook? Well, here's the pirate's code. 3 simple steps to sovereignty. First, you have to read the map. That means digging into the terms of service, spotting the API lock-ins, understanding the data policies. You need to see the traps before you sail into them. Second, read the weather. You have to know when to use powerful tools like AI to your advantage, but you also have to know when they create compliance and ethical storms that could sink your ship. And finally, find your allies. Don't rely on a single feudal lord. Build your own ecosystem, your own fleet. Because a lone pirate is an easy target, but a fleet is a force to be reckoned with.
So here's what it all boils down to. In this age of cloud feudalism, your goal can't just be to run a business on someone else's platform anymore. The new goal is sovereignty. It's time to stop paying rent. It's time to start building your own dock. So the only question left is, where are you going to build yours?